For the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everyone for attending. And before we jump in, normal housekeeping topics, all meetings are recorded. If there's any personal conversations that need to be had, please take them outside so it does not disrupt the meeting. When I open it up for the public to come up, make sure you come to the podium and state your name for the record, just so that people at home can see as well. And you'll have 2 opportunities to talk, one in regards to agenda items and one at the end for just regular public comment. So we do have the full quorum here tonight. I would call for other business. I know I have one, but does anybody have anything that needs to be added? Okay. We do need to add the liquor license renewal for the Chevron out at exit 59.
Wait, that's not in city limits.
That's not.
A motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that one.
Moved by Tom.
We're finishing up with the bills.
Okay. There is one spot in the meeting minutes themselves down at the bottom, in the public comment section. There was one word that was misspelled. It was debris. It just needs to be changed from an E to an S. Did anybody have any other comments on that? No. Go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So we will move into department reports. Was Chief comment tonight or?
He should be here. He's had.
We'll jump down. We'll do City Hall first then.
So for City Hall, we have a new QR code that you'll find throughout town. We're gonna have one put up out here also. With the QR code, so if there's like sidewalk repair, to a work order, and then there's communication back and forth between City Hall and residents. We've also got it set up to where you can just submit your public records request directly through there if you want to. Our codification has made a lot of progress. Eric and I spent probably 3 hours last week meeting with the attorneys, working out any conflicts, just going over any of their questions. Marissa from Buzzard's office met with us. They're going to send out a final draft, or not a final draft, but a draft for us to review and go over one more time, and then they'll send our final send all of those in as well, and we will have a 2020 sections that are going to need revising. So I know we have some coming out tonight, and there'll be more ordinances that we have to pass. And we've made considerable progress sorting and processing legal files stored in the city's back office. So we're not going to have paper files anymore. But that's really all we've been working on.
That back office looks amazing.
It does.
You guys have been hustling.
Yeah.
So I thought when you archived, you sent it to.
It depends on what it is. So you have to go through each file, figure out what it is. There's a retention period, how long you have to keep it. Some files you destroy, some files you have to send up to archives. I think we've sent about 10 boxes down to archives already. And I've got like 15 more sitting in my office, but I'm still waiting to sign the contract for the grant. So before we get those sent off, we want them all under the grant. So,
Okay, so. The part where we're at our limit is our own storage, not theirs.
yeah, I mean, we've got files back there from like 1938 that are water sewer receipts that
Shop.
it's only a 6-year retention schedule, which means you keep them for 6 years and throw them away, so. But business licenses you have to keep for the life of the building. So those are things where I'm like, hey, we're just gonna scan all of those, get rid of the paper copies. Cause I'm not gonna go through each business license and figure out which building's still here and which isn't. So it's just putting your hands on each file, figuring out. Where it needs to go, how long it needs to stay there, so. Any other questions? I'll go grab my charger.
iWorks is not on the website yet, but loading.
Okay, yep, and then Carla will have the QR code out, tomorrow.
Head and move on to Public Works since PD is not here yet.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jay. I'm the Public Works Assistant. This past couple of weeks, all of our daily procedures and testing were performed without any major issues. We submitted our second round of PFAS testing for at both wells. Results are pending, and we also completed IOCs for well 2 as scheduled. We did have a city side service line break on Cowlitz and Third following Memorial Day weekend. It was a reasonably quick repair and stuff we had on hand, just something that did happen. Our F-150 is not a whole lot of significant progress has been made on the platform. We have continued to do some shop organization and preparation of inventory. And we also moved around quite a few things at the wastewater treatment plant that weren't supposed to be there long term. Other stuff we've been up to, Connor has still continued scraping, prepping the curbs for paint. This is just something that we haven't really done in the past. John's kind of mentioned to me in the 18 years he's been here, nobody's ever scraped the curbs, so it's just more than what it has in the past. He's kind of wrapping that up. Moving forward, the next couple of weeks, we're gonna kind of edge the backsides of some of the curbs that we'll be painting and do some sweeping stuff, kind of like we did last year, the stuff that the debris that catches in by the curbs. And then we're moving on to painting and also some torch down stuff. All the white paint in town, maintaining the boat launch area, the restrooms and the exterior lawn. We do have picked up our paint and supplies for painting curbs in the coming weeks. We've done some routine cleaning on the effluent side of the wastewater treatment plant. Just regular maintenance and stuff that's been just kind of figuring out some discrepancies between the systems still. Anybody have any questions for me?
Where are we at with hydrants? Have you had a chance to reach out to Chief Davidson to?
I can reach out to him again, but we have either one of the chiefs on where they're at with scheduling.
Okay.
I know it's probably a busy time for them as well.
I just know with 4th of July coming up, I'd like to see. Just to make sure they're working. And then as far as inventory, I'm hoping we can make a big push. I'd like to see a large chunk of inventory done and. However many more months, I think, utilize him the best you can and try and get that done. Thank you.
Are you using inventory,
Stickers or
stickers or anything like that?
You mean like a barcode or just something to label something?
Usually they're numbered,
Oh, gotcha.
so that when you're doing your inventory, you have a number to relate to.
Oh, we are not currently. But I guess that's something that we can look into.
That's a good idea.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jay.
So when Rachel was covering the city hall, she didn't talk about the numbers she's put out.
Did you want to speak to the numbers that are on the sheet?
I just did I know that previous staff used to do a monthly like a P&L. At this one, it shows that we're using about 88% of our revenue. There's a little bar graph at the end. So I'll provide these monthly. Kind of like your Christmas tree that you were talking about, right? Yeah.
The 401 between revenue and expenses is running really tight.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really have a whole lot of
Wiggle
padding
room.
in the bid.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got hit with that loan this month in the
Yeah.
410.
Yeah.
So I mean, those all roll up as far as at the end of the year, so that's kind of our only,
Just a really good thing to watch
Yeah.
because it's definitely
yeah, and that's why I did the graph too, so we can just kind of get a visual on it every month and just make sure.
Yeah.
And then seeing how much of our revenue is spent monthly is kind of nice too, because we know at the end of the year, but to see the percentage every month, it just gives us a good idea during budget too. We kind of already know.
Some people like pie charts, Susan.
I can make you a pie chart out of the bar graph.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah.
there you go.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to the council reports. One thing for me that I'd like to note is that we do have 2 vacancies on the planning commission, so if anybody here is interested in joining the planning commission, we do need to fill those 2 vacancies. You get to have your say, put in your input on kind of where Toledo grows from here. If you're interested, please stop by City Hall. You can fill out the application. That is all I have, Bonnie. All right.
As Rachel said, I attended to the code, the pre-meeting. So that seemed to go pretty well.
I did.
Thank you for that effort. Getting that done.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
It's exciting.
Hopefully.
Jane.
The only thing I have is that we probably want to have a brief grand meeting this month. Just to kind of get a summary from Joe on where things are.
She can do that here too. You want to give a, well, yeah, let's wait until the end, but we can make sure to have one next month. That way we've got it on the books, but
Throw it on the agenda.
yeah.
Okay. All right, so we will go ahead and move on to committee reports. We do not have planning commission here this evening. Anyone you want to speak on behalf of the park board? 'Cause I don't think we have any park board here tonight either.
I can get Chief's report too.
We do have, yes. I'll let you speak to that.
No one for park board?
Mm-mm.
I'm here, but I haven't sat at the table yet.
So I'll go ahead and give PD's report. We had 45 total calls this month. I won't go through each one unless you guys really want to know. I know they've been pretty busy. We've seen a lot of tickets come in. I can't go over specifics on that, but they've been busy.
Weather it definitely brings that up.
Yeah. I just want to say when I was coming up here. The light, so they might wanna.
They've been getting
Yeah.
people there. They just can't police it 24/7, but I've seen tickets come through for it. It's even posted on.
All right, so no public hearing tonight, no special presentation, so I'll open it up for public comment on our agenda items.
Wouldn't bother it, so Anthony here, speak. Would there be a cost, advantage to putting a camera at that intersection?
This is the agenda.
Yeah, this is only on the agenda items themselves.
Well, that's what the police report.
No, that's not an agenda item. The
Oh.
agenda item's a new business section. But that is something that we can, it costs. It's the money portion of policing it, so. That's something we can look at, just not probably something that will happen in the immediate future.
No one else.
Anybody else? All right, we will go ahead and jump on into new business. First up is the clerk treasurer contracts. I would entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we.
And moved by Rebecca and seconded by Tommy. Do we have any discussion on that?
We do.
Mhm.
I would like to push back on the. I did some research and the standard severance is 2 weeks per year of employment. And with a top tier of 1 month per year of employment capped at 5 years. So the fact that we are a small city. Try to get stuff repaired and try to put this roof over our head. And the fact that we're also authorizing insurance for the duration of how long it is. I think we need to be more fiscally responsible. We don't have the funds to do that. I think it puts us in a very, very perilous position. A big corporation severance package, and we are not a big corporation.
And that is something too, that we would have to have a separate account to house all of the money to cover that as well. So that's money that we have to set aside. And I know why we're doing it, to make it so that it's not easy for the next person that sits in my seat to come in and say, personality wise, we just don't get along. She can't just, walk out and leave us scrambling. So I understand it. I hear what you're saying too about the cost. So I'm definitely, that's a discussion that I would like to see. What does everybody else think about the cost, the monetary portion of it?
I think that's applicable. I mean, it needs to not be easy for us as a city. It was very difficult going through the turnover. I would hate to see that happen to Toledo again. And it's only a cost if you use it.
Right, but as I said, it's more than what big corporations give out. So we need to be fiscally responsible.
If it were cheap and easy, it would serve no purpose at all.
But why are we giving up to 9 months? And
So let's see, I'm 3.5 years on council. The very first thing I did when I came to council was I interviewed all of the employees. Just so I've never had anybody work for me that I'd never met before, so I just wanted to see who they were and what they do and they don't like, and it was unanimous. They all hate come in every 4 years. I mean, I heard things like every 4 years when that could just decide to fire them. I want Jay to feel comfortable because he reports to somebody who he knows is not going to go away in the next election cycle. It is a thing that they live with, and I think that we've already seen. We're already seeing that. It sounds like a few of the staff are liking that they see that they have some security. So it as a fiscal decision or a place to secure.
Why are our standards so much higher?
I think if you go look at what is that, exit 30,
Lemma?
Kalama, theirs is, I believe, bigger than hers, or the same.
Yeah, it's higher, yeah.
It's
The idea is to make it difficult to make it undesirable to just let them go without
I
cause.
totally get that, but like I said, we're not a big city, we're not a big corporation.
And so we don't want to have to spend that, and so keep the good staff on board. Would a compromise of 3, 4, and 5 months instead of 3, 6, and 9 months make you feel any better? And does anybody think that that's not enough then to compromise? I mean, I think we have a great admin going right now, and I would hate to see that change, especially the way that it changed the last go around, because this city was in dire straits for several.
I was there.
So I think that's the purpose of making it undesirable to just let somebody go without cause.
I get that, I totally get that. On board with. I think what's in there now is city brings it.
So I just sort of threw that out as a compromise.
I think it takes the teeth out of the contract. Honestly,
And if we're gonna make any, like, to decrease it down at all, I would think 3, 4, and 6 would be enough to kind of cover both sides. It's gonna make it, nobody's gonna wanna pay that 6-month severance. And I know that's if you're where it makes it a whole lot harder to fire somebody without cause. Like I mean, we've got things in place for, like the PIP, and so there is things in place now that we work on performance. We work on fixing the problem.
I'd be good with 3, 4, and 6.
Also, we corporations can. And that's why we're trying to come up with this contract in the first place, is for both sides. to
There's
try to keep
nothing
them-
wrong with a reasonable contract. I think what's proposed here is too much.
All fair though.
Yeah, do we want to make an amendment? Do you want to?
Then they can-
We'll go ahead and call for the vote on it. All those in favor?
I,
Of 3, 4, and 6.
The change.
It wasn't
nobody
changed.
made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So motion will carry. So we will move down to the water leak reduction request. I'm sure everybody's had a chance to take a look at that. I am gonna have Sarah kind of just speak on it really quick before, I'll entertain a motion and then I'll have her speak.
I'll make a motion, we accept the request for water leak forgiveness of $332.94.
I'll second that.
Yeah, moved by Eric and seconded by Rebecca. Sarah, can you speak to the water?
Yeah, so, I realized that, I guess I should have put. But he actually lives in Oregon and he's in the process of taking back over his home up here. So he only gets up here once to every week to 2 weeks, so we are not sure how long this water leak was going. He got his dates mixed up and that is my fault, I did not go back. His claim was that he came home or to the house and water was gushing out of his pump house. He did try to contact us. It was after hours on a Friday. Turns out that this after hours phone was left here, so we did not get it and I did not even notice anything about it until he came in on the 19th, and that was the next time he was up here. Because he could not get a hold of anyone, he took it into his own hands to get it fixed because he wasn't just gonna let water be gushing. Public Works did go check to make sure everything was done properly. There is no leak now. There is a pump house on the property. I don't know anything else besides that. And now we're good. So that's kind of where we're at. And this was the overage. I did have him pay the base rate for that bill. He was good with that. And this is the remaining balance of over the 6,000 gallons for his tier.
Perfect. Thank you.
Home house?
Yeah, Jay, did you go out with John to look at that or no?
What address is this?
This
We can't.
yeah, we
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
Fer- it's
Here, you can come look
Mr.
at it.
Ferris.
I think you were gone still when this happened.
Okay,
That's a possibility.
okay. So if you want to
Check
ask
out
him
all
about
that
the
stuff.
pump house?
Do you have a pump,
You
you have
have
a
to-
pump house?
Oh,
Because it's up on the hill, so pumps the water.
I didn't either.
Oh, okay. It's like a gravity,
Okay.
like a lift
Okay.
station, essentially.
Gotcha.
All we did was, we went and checked the meter and verified that there was no water that came in. And that
On
was,
his side, okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, part of.
Are you the owner?
This side, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and come on up.
So, yeah, I went down there,
It was around that time, right?
yeah, it was on the 18th when I found the lead, but, my renters, I have been leaving through April, and then, came in and signed up to have the water turned back on, and, it didn't come on. And then a couple weeks later, I came back and said, you know. Finding somehow. And so I didn't complain. On the 18th, I went down to the pump house because I was getting very little, actually, that time the tank was empty. And so I knew there was something going on with that pump. I got it in there to this pump house. Gushing water and it was no damage, but you know, now weekend, I went down to the hardware store and bought some of that Lex tape. See it on commercials, you know, there's a wrap that or whatever, maybe. So then, we went down with my brother-in-law, we bought the equipment to fix the pipes and. But we didn't know where the meter. We were all here. It's a realtor, I guess. And so I looked down here. For me. So, hey, over a day. Just to find out where the meter is, so next day on Monday. We went out there and the meter is just going like crazy. It was halfway up that old road, across the valley from my house. So we found it and shut the water off. But it was just free flowing, called the shoeless message. Inch and a half pipe, it was just.
Yeah.
So, bill was like $600. I haven't used any water.
Perfect, thank
you.
you.
So that answers my second question of why the capital improvement was not $10. So now I understand.
Yes. Did anybody else have any other questions on this one before I call for the vote on it? All right, go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go ahead and get that taken care of for you. All right, so we are gonna move on. So next up is ordinance 822. It's an ordinance of the city of Toledo, Washington, repealing and replacing sections of Toledo Municipal Code, section 1 as codified in the Toledo City Code Book 1970. And the letter dated 4-20-20 repealing and replacing all other ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent with the provisions of this ordinance as necessary, and providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Make a motion, we accept ordinance 8.
I'll second that.
And moved by Eric and seconded by Kathy. I will open it up for discussion.
We're gonna have a lot more of these coming.
We
Oh,
have,
yeah.
I am just glad that we're getting them all taken care of now. So going forward, it will make everybody's life a whole lot easier.
So what prompted this?
Because the way it's listed in our code book, it directs the fee schedule to an ordinance. And so what this basically does is states that Toledo has a fee schedule we go over every year, and it's on file in the clerk's office rather than point to a specific ordinance.
Yeah,
And this allows us to do.
there's going to be dozens of these coming.
Yes.
Because everywhere in the code book where it's 20 to 50 to 80 years obsolete. It's a lot of it, some of the things like this are just getting repealed.
It's just cleaning things up.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a lot. There's gonna be a lot of things coming out, so. Yeah, the way it sits right now is it just points to like a 592 ordinance. It is, and that's not our fee schedule anymore. So the way we have to word all of our ordinances are very confusing, and it should be worded like that, so. And this came directly from our attorneys as well.
How big is our code book?
It's getting a lot smaller with stuff like this, yeah.
Jay, go ahead. Oh, you got it.
Does anybody else? And again, we will be seeing a ton of these coming across. We will go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on to resolution 320A. The resolution of the city of Toledo, Washington in support of paid family and medical leave and authorizing city payers premium portion only.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution number 320A.
I'll second it.
And moved by Rebecca and seconded by Tanya. We'll go ahead and open that up for discussion.
So we've been operating without a resolution. Is that the purpose for this?
No, we have not. So it's in our code book or our personnel policy, and it's also in our budget. That the employee pays for it. So when I got here, the employer was paying for all of it. When I went through and started redoing our personnel policy, it shows that for 50 or more employees, but anything under 50 employees, the employer doesn't have to pay. So I switched it over to the employee paying for it. But since we do have an employee that's coming up that we know is going to go on leave, there's a grant that we can apply for that will help pay for staff time while they're gone. And in order to qualify for that grant, which comes out to like $5 a month per employee. And then it's just an additional benefit for the employees as well, so.
Yeah, I thought we were
Already
already
paid.
paying a portion, so.
No, yeah, we originally, when, like I said, when I got here, it was fully paid for by the city, and then I switched it over. The staff paying for it, and then now we're just gonna do the 28 whatever percentage. So it's actually pretty low. I think it's like $40. I think it's even as low as $3 for some employees. So
Makes sense.
And this makes us eligible for the grant.
it does.
The grant does come with a requirement that you continue to do that, pay for 3 years if you make use of it. But the break even is in the black anyway, so it's worth doing.
And just change the personnel policy, and then moving forward, we'll just budget it in, and that's all we have to do.
Well, if there's no other discussion, I will go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll move on to resolution number 321A, a resolution of the City Council of Toledo, Washington, superseding resolution 285A and formally adopting the 2025 procurement policy. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 321A.
I'll second it.
Moved by Rebecca and seconded by Jamie. I will go ahead and open it up for discussion.
This is just basically agreeing to the procurement policy.
Yes.
We've already.
did. If nobody has any input.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit from the last time the procurement policy was reviewed was I think 23 or 24, but there's been some changes through L&I that needed to be added in here, so it's probably did.
I thought we did it last.
It might have been early 2024, yeah, or even mid 24, but yeah, there was I went to Labor and Industries, Public Works, procurement workshop thing, and there's several things that have changed. Some stuff with prevailing wages changed, and then some of the project values have changed, and there's several things, so they're all updated in here, so that way, if the auditors call our procurement policy, we're following L&I and Washington.
Okay, so this is in the part where I asked. No,
Oh,
I asked to have the bid process on this agenda.
yeah, we've got to get the previous bid that was done, so that's in the works.
If there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to resolution number 322A, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Toledo, Washington, declaring certain city-owned property as surplus and authorizing its donation.
Make a motion to accept resolution 322A.
They would like on the fair surplus?
They're really uncomfortable. Yeah.
I didn't think anybody. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Does anybody know anybody who would want this?
Senior center or something, we'll see.
We'll move on to resolution number 325A, resolution of the City Council of Toledo, Washington, declaring 4 wooden council desks as surplus property and authorizing their sale.
I move we accept resolution number 325A.
I'll second this.
And this by Jamie and seconded by Eric. Anybody have any discussion on the desks? All right, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in. All right, moving on, we have resolution number 323A, a resolution of the City of Toledo, Washington, establishing an annual training requirement for board and commission members.
I'll move we accept resolution 323A.
I'll second it.
Been moved. Anybody has anything on that?
Have we not had this before?
We didn't,
No,
It's not in writing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
wasn't enforceable, yeah.
Yeah, so we make it. All right, if there is no discussion and no questions on that, I will go ahead and call for the vote. Motion carries.
I think resolution 322 for the disposal of chairs was not addressed. Did I miss something?
Yeah, you missed it.
All right, so we will move on to resolution number 324A. A resolution of the City Council of Toledo, Washington, authorizing the establishment of a voluntary payroll deduction program for employee paid gym membership to Thorbeck's Wellness Center.
I move we accept resolution 324A.
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Jamie and seconded by Tawny. I will open that up for discussion if anybody has anything.
Yeah, where is this place?
It's in Chehalis and a lot of the local cities, like I know Winlock does it, Lewis. As a benefit for their employees to go there. I know we have the allotment for health insurance, so whatever's left over, employee. It saves sign up cost, and there's an annual fee there of $30. And then as employees, we can sign our people that live with us up, and they would do it themselves through Thorbeck's, but it just gives the employees a bunch of benefits, so.
But it's coming out of their.
So it's just another benefit that they can choose to use the money that they're given for their health insurance,
Which is already budgeted for.
which is already budgeted for, yeah. So it's not costing the city any more money.
Yeah, it says post-tax and all that, so it's just allowing the city to take a voluntary deduction.
Mhm.
Go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Perfect. Motion carries. All right, so we will go ahead and no unfinished business tonight. Under the other business, do we want to go ahead and do the mid-month workshop? Anybody have anything that we need to address?
I won't be here. June.
Mentioned the desire to get to work on the budget sooner rather than later. Are there any things we can do ahead of schedule?
No, the sun's out.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll call.
A ton of meetings in that.
Just make her.
The boat's out. There's no mid-month workshop.
All right, so.
Actually, can I add another, because I wanted to, it's gonna break. In looking at water bill things, because I was curious what was going on with the water bill, that we had in our packet. I noticed that we don't itemize a few things, and I'm.
So that happened in like the last 1 or 2 billing cycles. I don't know. I've got the girls reaching out because it did used to be item.
I think I'm specifically addressing, that would be nice if we get that. The water so that we're transparent to the customers
Nice one.
that their overage, what their overages might be. That's my water bill.
Yeah. So this one, oh, you're talking about like having the overages.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can,
If it's
I can
something
check.
that they can do without a big
Yeah.
problem, transparency is good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
Thanks.
absolutely. We will go ahead and move into the public input. Sorry, I'm gonna make you come on up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought you were.
Oh, no,
somebody
no.
behind me. Well, we have to. There's no more.
It does seem like you're moving better, though.
I have good hands in me. But thank you for noticing.
I'm like, it made me happy. I was like, she's on the mend.
Oh, no. Anyway, wanted to give you an update on what happened at our cleanup day yesterday, the day before yesterday. So I made a board that you can. And on the board, it shows you. You have to teach her out of classroom, but you can't do that. Anyway, it shows you the different areas we addressed. They were all public spaces. So like the boat launch. You have to go see the boat launch, the railing with the boat and the elementary school, the high school, and one of the planter boxes in front of the senior center. We ran out of time and we didn't have more paint to do Head Start, but that's on our list. We also did Steamboat Alley. The wheel is now freshly painted and it's beautiful. And it's been pressure washed and all of that. The bandstand at the park was absolutely gross. So pressure washer came in and you want to take a picture of the before, you want to take a look at the before and after pictures and the during pictures, because you can see half of it's done and half of it is. So we were still at the park that the bandstand has never looked this good. So this is great, but I was surprised when I heard what it was being used for and how frequently and how recently. And it was looking like that. It was a hazard because it was slippery. And by the way, in your budget, you're gonna wanna have some repair. You stand, one section of it is sloping down and there's a tripping hazard there. So that's to know. We cleaned up the gardens around Rusty the Salmon. Everything at the main corner where the people did their speeding has been cleaned up. All of the white posts that are at the corner are cleaned up by 2 high school students, by the way. We had some people go out and do the weeding at the post office, even though that isn't city property, it certainly reflects our city. And we had 2 people, Mike Morgan gave them the key. They cleaned the inside and the outside of the glass.
Oh, nice.
It was out. Pressure wash the water tower and the inspirational sign, although the sign needs to be replaced, right? The sun has gotten to it. The little cleaning on the jail, the art co-op and Common Ground are going to take care of that on an ongoing basis. Toledo Market Fresh provided the food for us to the tune of $126. That was really good. The Cheese Depot, which is a new business in town, Kyle couldn't come and volunteer, so he offered 20% discount on that day to any of our volunteers that came into the shop. And here's Joe and Dan cooking. And here's everybody eating. We had 19 hot dogs left and some soda pops.
Nice.
The hot dogs, they're not gonna last, so I'm eating them when I don't feel like cooking. And we're giving all of the sodas and the waters to the vendors in the car cheese days. So we're gonna do it there. That was a suggestion by someone I do not remember at the moment. Okay, I did all of that. Oh, the pizza oven that my son donated went to Lindsay Chapman. And Lindsay Chapman and her little 8-year-old daughter Scarlett went and did the weeding at the elementary school that Charlotte attends. So we had 42 volunteers. 42. I was hoping we'd probably used all the food. And we had 20 projects. They all got done with the exception of a little more power washing that needs to be taken care of because we were running out of time.
Yeah.
We really were. So the ages of the volunteers, age 8, like I mentioned, and people like Ron's still there. You know, those of us in our senior years, we were there too. So it was the cacophony of different age groups. We had Boy Scouts there. We had high schoolers getting community service points there as well. Families came with their kids and what have you. It was a big deal. And then as far as donations, in addition to the Market Fresh donation and my son donating the pizza and the 20% discount at the Cheese Depot, the city lent us a big water tank so that we could use the pressure washer. That was great. We'd like to keep that a little longer because we're not quite done with that yet. And then $200 in supplies are going to be covered by Vision Toledo. And of course, the liability insurance that the Lions Club provided for us. So.
How long are you expecting to need the tank for the pressure water? Yeah, it's still city property, so if you guys need to use it again, you can come pick it up, but. And you guys can use it, just give us a heads up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Yes.
We had a good time, and I'm gonna leave the sign up at the entry of town because I put thank you, wonderful volunteers on it. I wanna leave it up.
And up front too, if you want to leave it right there, I'll get it hung up in the office. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Joe, did you have anything you wanted to add?
It's 20, oh, Joanna Jones. Tony, you mentioned about the workshop for the city, budget, yes, thank you. And I'm thinking that it would be really nice if the city put some money aside in the budget for next year for city cleanup. Because that people bought paint brushes, their paint rollers, they brought their own paint. There was no money for any of that. And it's volunteers should not be paying to do volunteer work for, you know, the city. Everything from garbage bags we had to buy. So in the future, I think it would be really nice. Even if it's just a couple $100 would be great. So just mention.
I'll make a note, yeah.
You were gonna do an update
Yeah.
on
Can
it.
I do this?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Switching hats. Joanna Jones, committee member for the grants committee. Right now, I am not writing any grants for the city, but I would like to write one for the safety, but I do need to have Rachel or you or somebody to send, whoever sets it up is the person who has to sign it. So I know Rachel could probably set it up for you or however you want to set it up. And just give me the questions and I can fill it up, but I only have until June 26th. It has to be in, so I need it pretty quick. That's for the safety grant. It's a planning grant. You have to have the planning grant before you can have the implementation. So yes, it's a pain. But what it is we'll get the sidewalks, try to get crosswalks fixed. All the white thermoplast that I think is that what they call it, thermoplast. Anyway, the white on everything is deteriorated terribly, and so we need an update for all of those things. We need to look at having the sidewalk along. It's only about this wide now, coming down the hill. Safe, and we need sidewalks on the. Obviously, there's what town has sidewalks in the core part of downtown on one side of the road and not on the other. And so that, Rachel also asked me to check into a digitization grant for archiving.
I found that one too.
Yes, you did. It was great. I took a look at it, but they're only giving out 11 nationwide.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're not gonna qualify.
We can do the same one that I got this year, once
Yes.
we're done with it, so probably in
Yes.
27, we can do the
Yes,
digital
it
one.
was very, very stringent and huge amount of after the fact.
I saw, yeah.
paperwork. Yeah, so I think that's not feasible for us. The chances of us being able to, you know, beat out some of the big major universities and other big cities, and so it just wasn't set up for us.
Thanks for looking.
So I'm still looking for some grants that would improve the city, but not for the city. If that makes any sense. For a market. But they are, not their own 501c3. They failing to do fiscally respond. Group, so my suggestion is going to be for them to try to, get their own 501c3 authorization. Through beds, and then there's lots out there, but not the way they're structured, so.
Thank you.
So what about the pipe that needs to be replaced? Where are you at now?
I did send in the request to Senator Murray and Senator Cantwell for a congressionally directed spending. And just right after that got in, I got a message through Rachel too, from
Buzzard.
yes, Amy Buzzard, the grant writer for is asking us all kinds of questions. And I sent the answers back like lickety split and sent her all the information, because we had a budget on there, like that was itemized, everything.
Mhm.
And sent that to her. I said, and she asked if we were ready to go. And I said, if you consider ready to go in 90 days as getting the paperwork started, absolutely. But you can't just start. You have to have SEPA and NEPA and all of those things done too. So it's usually at least 2 years before or it can be up to 2 years before you're literally breaking ground. So, and that's if everything goes, you know, permitting
Well,
and
and we
everything.
have to do the bid process too.
Yeah. Yes, and she has not responded back, which
I haven't
is
heard from her either.
So I sent her back saying, where are we? What are we doing? Let me know. And this is what happened the 3 previous times.
So when you email her, will you CC me on it?
Sure.
And Rachel?
And I'll try to find that bid, Jamie. I kind of dropped the ball on that, so I'll make sure it's on the next agenda. I just kind of reached out to John a couple days ago, so.
Okay, great.
Yes, I think that's probably pretty much where we are. On that.
Thank
Is there any other? That at the end of the night.
This is the end of the night.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is,
this
yeah.
is the end of the. Okay, great, I'm sorry. So this is another start in 3 minutes because it's something totally different. In December of 2022, I don't even know what century it is. I submitted for the Historical Society the request from City Council for you to examine the possibility of the Historical Society moving into the back after the food. I don't know if you remember, but I did bring the letter just in case. And we did, at that point, it was sort of kind of tabled because we were still waiting for the reports from Gray and Osborne on the condition. We know what the condition is, and I contacted him and asked if we were to move in there, can you talk to us about what things need to be done? I mean, the report had rebuilding from the ground up, not going to be done, but is there a way to move in and just do some of these things that makes it reasonable and not a day grades of things that really do need to be done? And he said he would be happy to meet or do a phone call, Zoom meeting, whatever we needed to do to find out what that is for us. So my request is at this point, as you know, I think everybody in town knows that we've lost our history room and have to move out of that. So we're looking for different options. We've had some very interesting options. And we've had a lot of denials of people wanting to keep their property and not, release it for use, which is fine. It's their property. It's not fine, but they want to do that. At this point, we're looking for storage. We do not have, as everybody knows, also a small town. We don't have any major fundraisers for the Historical Society. We've never wanted to take away from the people that already have fundraisers. And as small as we are, there's a million of those fundraisers and there's something every weekend just about. So we'll be looking for new fundraisers, but we'd like to see if the council would agree to a nominal amount for us to store and maybe consider for us to have a history museum in the back. Might be workable for you, but that brings in a lot of money, believe it or not. I know that's doesn't seem like there would be, but museums in towns is part of the tourism package for people looking for things to do. So the more we have for people to do while they're here, the better off we are.
So it's currently not heated too in that back area?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and I've made them aware, so we'd be looking at short term, or if we can afford to heat it, which I think is probably a shocking thought, because we all know there's no insulation in there, none whatsoever. So I don't know if you need time to do that, or if you can vote now and discuss it.
We'll get it on the agenda
Okay.
next,
Next
for the
meeting.
next meeting. There would be a process to go through if you guys were, if it's something that the council wanted to pass. There would be several hoops to jump through and.
One of them would be insurance.
Yeah, well, we'd have to have a public hearing and do the same thing that we did for Head Start. So we'll get it on the agenda and council and the mayor can.
Yeah, and you can let us
Throw it around.
know what all is gonna be involved. We don't have any idea, so that would be good. So on a total of 3 minutes, there has been some questions. And I'm bringing it to you. Has the city made any kind of agreement with Winlock for our water and sewer, for them to have access to our
Yeah,
Not with Willow.
They do, there are.
there are.
Like, we're not their backup as we are, as they are our back.
Right.
Or are you
Are you
referring
talking about-
about services?
Yes, so
No.
future services.
No.
So that we stopped them because they couldn't provide water and sewer. And so there's been in the air, let's just say, people wondering if they had tried to
No.
get a resolution or a contract or an agreement where they could do that.
That wouldn't be through us. That would be through the county right now because that's belongs to the county.
No, she was just asking if Winlock has asked us if we
Yes.
would allow them to use, like, if they're on our side, if they could hook up to our water and
Yeah.
sewer.
No.
No, yeah.
So then that would give them the
Yeah, no.
not all that they want to do, so. Okay, thank you. Yep.
Troublemakers. The troublemakers, another 3 minutes, but it won't take that long. We're doing the public areas in the spring. We would like to do a fall cleanup, but have it be for neighborhoods, so individual residents can clean up their properties. And you don't want anyone to feel bad about saying, oh, your property looks terrible. So our idea is to bring in the big dumpsters that Transit Authority or someone else has to us. My initial phone calls to them said that the city would have to be involved and it would have to come through them. So I'd like this item to go on the agenda and I can find out more information and get it to you by the time you need it, Rachel. It would involve bringing different dumpsters in for different purposes throughout a month, September or October. And then we need a gated and locked facility. People don't dump off stuff that they just don't want and it doesn't fit the transit authority's category.
We wouldn't be able to pay for that. Is that what you're looking for the city to pay for it?
I don't know. I don't know if they donate them to the cities or if we would have to pay for them. I know there's lots of cities around us that have done these kind of events.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they've paid for them. That'll be my next conversation with the,
Yeah, so why don't you
Transit
see if they're gonna donate them? I can work with the mayor if we have a spot for that. I wouldn't really need to find out if they're planning on donating them and give me or shoot me an email and we can go from there.
no, I will let you know as soon as I find out. Now that this is over, I can start looking at that option instead. And the area that was suggested to me that would be the best one for these bins coming in, since they wouldn't all be coming at once, would be the area where the water tower is that has the mural on it.
Yeah, that's restricted, so
Mhm.
we wouldn't be able to have residents back there is the only thing. That's why I was saying this weekend that we'd have to kind of look into something different. That's where our well water and everything is, so we can't have residents back there.
Okay, well.
And they're not like small enough to where we could just move them when needed, so.
No, and liability wise, we wouldn't want to be moving them. We would
Right.
want the company to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll get the information I have and I'll give it to you and we'll see if there's enough there to put on the agenda at some future time, sooner rather than later, so we can get working on.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Mayor, council, my name's Bill Moore, I'm the mayor of Commissioners Park and Transfer District 2, the state. Tonight I wanted to discuss the pending fireworks net here on the map. I did not attend the fireworks last time, but July 5th I came down here at 7 o'clock and it was just, I couldn't believe my eyes of the debris field that was out here. It was just utterly disgusting. This was packed here. Whole street was packed. The community building was stacked up against this. Your alcove here, Brandon and I took over in the streets right here, we took over a garbage can of debris right here, in your steps, walking in there. Thousands and thousands of white sulfur pellets all over the place. The two trucks that we had out here, you couldn't even recognize them, the debris field was so bad on them. We spent hours and hours, we had to hand sweep our roof, clean the gutters out of the fire department. We got inside the building, all over in our bays, in the living quarters, down the hallways. It was a mess, absolute total mess. No other help outside except volunteers and our duty staff, including myself. So, again, it took a greater part of the day. Absolutely. The thing I asked, which is the most important, is the extreme fire danger right out here in this building. You walk down here about 50 feet. The roof's caved in, you got 100+ here. Underneath here is exposed. One of those fireworks goes astray and gets in there. This building is destroyed. You know that right away. It's impossible to put out. And it's gonna take everything out here with it. Rick and Tanya got a huge propane tank right there. Fireworks out here does not meet the code between here and the code out there, one. And even close to the building isn't the code either as far as distance wise, but the potential for fire is absolutely great because I'm telling you, it's not worth the permit. The manpower and possibly it's gonna take a lot, mutual aid's gonna have to come here and it has the potential to be like a 2010 fire where the 2 blocks went out there. I'm not trying to scare you, but the potential is there. Please consider this next permit.
And just so you are aware, they have not even approached us.
Okay.
So as far as we know, it's not even happening. So I know that's been a.
We appreciate you coming down though.
Yeah.
That's really important information for us to
You
have.
guys just could have walked in here and
Yeah.
seen the debris.
Well, and I was
You
here
would
in the
have been
morning.
just amazed.
And I-
Some exploded that didn't explode. Did all your curbs out?
I was out here with them that morning cleaning
Yeah.
up. I was out helping
Yeah. I
clean
mean,
up all of that, so at least
could
they,
not believe my eyes at the debris that all those fireworks and, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think the guy said there was even 2 little small fires in the trees.
Yeah.
That they put out.
Yeah, there was.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared. It only takes a spark and it's.
that's anywhere in town too. That's why I need to get the fire department on board with Public Works to get those hydrants done before the 4th of July.
Yes, yes.
So if you could,
We're working on the Napa guy, chief. He's done this all before to map out and do all that stuff and.
yeah, we're getting crunch time now.
For all this mess, because the following weekend was Tuesday, and we had an open house, we had hundreds of people. We had to just scour everything up, but it's the
Yeah.
same scenario this year.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
4th. Tuesdays.
Yep,
the
right
next
after.
weekend. So.
Yeah.
Again, I ask you, if it does come to, please consider denying the permit this year and future, just not worth the.
Yeah, and they would need a pyrotechnician is, from what I've seen.
Actually, I looked up an RCW.
Yep.
Any permit has to go through the fire department as well.
Yep. And that's ours. So.
Again, thank you for your time.
Anybody else? All right, we have no executive session tonight, so I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Eric and seconded by Jamie. All those in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.